Let's say during your show you decide to go crazy. Let's say you have something like this big old hot Cheeto bin right here, or you have a big box of Legos like this. Something that's obviously not going to fit in a flat rate box. There's no way you're going to ship this inside of here. So how do you go about shipping something like this on Whatnot? If you don't currently sell over on Whatnot, or you don't plan on doing any live selling over on that platform in the near future, this video is not going to be very helpful for you. But if you're a new seller on Whatnot like I am, or you plan on getting started up soon, I want to share one shipping setting with you that you definitely want to make sure you're using correctly. If you're not doing this right, you can lose a lot of money when you're first starting out. Now, I know this video is not going to be for everyone, and I kind of debated if I should even make this video, but I'm naturally a teacher. I love helping people in any way that I can. So this video is my attempt to try to help you if you're a new seller, and hopefully this can help at least one person out there that's planning on getting started over on Whatnot. Now, in no way, shape, or form I'm claiming to be an expert on this. Again, I'm brand new over on that platform. I've only done about 7 shows, but this is something I've either learned on my own by just making mistakes, because on my very first show, I lost $70 in shipping that I had to pay. Luckily, that was my first show, so Whatnot kind of helped me out there. So I was able to save that $70. But on my 6th show that I just had a couple days ago, I actually lost about $30 to $40 in shipping because of this one setting that I'm going to talk to you about today. And this is also just stuff that I learned talking to other sellers on Whatnot and talking to Whatnot support. So I know this can definitely help at least one of you out there. So one thing you want to understand is that Whatnot was first created to sell really small items. It's not really designed to sell big bulky items. There are ways around it, which we're going to talk about today, but it could get really tricky once you start getting to some big oversized stuff. So if you're someone that sells only one type of item, life's going to be a lot easier for you over on Whatnot. That's kind of what it was designed for. It's going to take all the stress out of shipping for you. So if you sell like Hot Wheels, little toys, jewelry, stuff like that, it's going to be a lot simpler. But if you're an everything seller like we are, we sell clothes, toys, anything we find out of storage units. That's where we get all our inventory from. So it can range from small jewelry up to like big toy sets and stuff like that. So we'll start off with the simpler, most basic way to ship, which is just one type of item. And then we'll work our way up to the flat rate shipping boxes, which I really like doing, and then the big bulkier items. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and jump into Whatnot here on my computer. The first thing you wanna do is go to your profile, go to Seller Hub. Over here on the left, you'll see shipments. You want to go to shipping profiles. Again, this is for those of you that only sell one type of item. I'm gonna come right over here. I already created a few of them. Let's just say you sell only plush. This might get a little tricky, so you might have to watch it a couple times, but Whatnot likes to work in ounces, not pounds. So you just have to convert that over. So 1 pound is 16 ounces, and we want to work in 5-pound increments. So we're gonna go ahead and take 16 ounces, which is 1 pound. We're going to multiply that by 5. So that gives us 80 ounces. So we always want to work with about 5-pound boxes. So we're going to start off with 80 ounces. That's the maximum that we want to put into one of these large flat rate boxes. Let's say each of your plush on average weighs about 5 ounces. I know you'll have some that weigh less and some that weigh a little more. So we want to go ahead and type in 80, divide that by 5, which is on average how much ounces each of your plush weigh. That gives you a total of 16 items, but we want to be a little safe. We don't want to go over. So we're going to go ahead and put in 14 max number of items in one box. So that means a buyer can come in and buy 14 different plush on your show. All that will fit into one box, and they're only going to pay a total of $9.21 shipping for that whole box. Now what this means right here is, let's say someone buys more than 14. Once they reach their 15th item, it's going to go ahead and reset, and it's going to start charging them a new $9.21 for the second box of up to 14 plush. So they can buy 14 plush for $9.21. The second box, which will be a total of 28 plush, will ship for $18.42, and they'll just keep going up from there. Right here, you want to go ahead and select USPS large flat rate box. It'll automatically calculate what the dimensions are. And this button right here is extremely important. This button, toggling it on and off, could cost you a lot of money if you don't do it correctly, but we'll go ahead and talk about that here in a couple minutes. So after you do that, you just go ahead and hit publish, and that's going to go ahead and save. I did the same thing for like sweaters. You can see here only 4 sweaters fit because these are 14 ounces on average for each sweater. So unlike the plush where you can fit up to 14 items in one box, sweaters are bigger and bulkier, so I could only fit 4 items in one box. So $9.21 shipping for 4 sweaters, and then it resets on the 5th one. Hopefully that makes sense. So those settings that I just went over is for anytime you want to do a flat rate shipping of $9.21. When somebody comes into your show, there'll be a big banner that goes across the top of your live that says max shipping of $9.21. So buyers know what to expect when you have that turned on. Now, one thing I do want to mention real quick, because this was confusing to me at first, when you see that $9.21 max shipping, it says regardless of how much you purchase. Now, Whatnot is assuming that you're gonna sell like 400 coins or 400 earrings, 400 baseball cards, something small like that, that obviously you can fit like 400 to 500 small things like that into one flat rate box. Now, obviously something like that would work. You can fit a couple hundred coins in one of those flat rate boxes. But one thing that they're not taking into consideration is what if you sell 15, 20, 30 hats? What if you sell 7 pairs of shoes? They're not going to fit inside that flat rate box. So the wording is kind of tricky. It's not max 921 regardless of how much you purchase. If someone new comes into your stream and they see that and they go crazy ordering all this stuff and it's really not 921, I don't know, it's like a thin line. You can get kind of in trouble there. So just keep in mind it's 921 max shipping for one box. As soon as you max out that box, it goes to the next one and it's a new $9.21. So just make sure you know that. That way you can explain that to any buyers if that situation ever comes up. And one thing I'm realizing as I'm making this can get really confusing, and that's why a lot of people have a hard time with shipping. So when I say you want to weigh out the plush and divide the 80 ounces of 5 pounds by the 5 ounces that the plush weighs, that's just one way of calculating how many plush will fit into this box. But as you can see on these boxes right here, it's a large flat rate box and it says one rate, any weight. So this can go all the way up to 70 pounds. So I don't want you to think, because I said we work in 5 pound increments, that it has to be 5 pounds or less. It can be all the way up to 70 pounds. So another way of looking at this is, let's say you're doing an all plush show. Let's say all this right here is plush that I'm gonna be selling during the show. Another thing that you can do is just stuff as many plush in here that can fit. So let's just say 1, 2, 3. Let's get some bigger ones just in case. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's just say someone ordered a big one. 9, 10, 11. We're going to try to stick with our 14, 12, 13, and 14. So let's see if our math was correct over there. This is 14 plush. Remember, it said we can fit up to 16 in there, but we wanted to be safe and go with 14. This is 14 plush. You can see it's stuffed, but as long as it can close, you tape that up, and there's your 14 plush inside of there. But again, the weight does not matter. So if you can technically probably fit 15, 16, but see, it starts getting really tight. It won't close on me. So that's why we put 14, just to be safe. So that's another way of looking at it. Don't think that you have to keep it at 5 pounds. You can do it this way, take them all out, and you don't have to do the first way that I said, the 80 divided by 5. You can just do it this way. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. But let's say, for example, you don't want to do it that way. You just want to run single items and just pack them up as they come. Whatnot has something called smart bundling. So they'll still bundle all the customer's order into one shipping cost. It'll still be cheaper than doing each item. So let's say, for example, this will cost you $4.95. Let's just say $5 to ship it out to a customer. If they order 4 of these, it's not going to do 5 times 4, so 20 bucks. It's going to do something called smart bundling. So it'll be probably $5 for the first one, and let's say $1 something for the second one, 45 cents for the third one. So it's going to get progressively cheaper the more they buy. That's what Whatnot calls smart bundling. So you can do it this way. You don't have to do the max shipping. You can do it just one item at a time. And let me show you what that looks like. So in this case, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to go to your scheduled show. You're just going to go ahead and click on that. On the bottom right down there, you'll see shop. You're going to go ahead and click there. You can see that right now we have nothing there. You're going to go ahead and click on the plus sign down here at the bottom. You can either create a quality listing or a temporary listing. A quality listing is always going to be there for your future shows. You can just go ahead and drag it in. So you can see here, you can go to inactive. These are all the ones I've already created. I've created an extra large, 2 to 3 pounds, large, 1 to 2 pounds, a medium, which is 8 to 16 ounces, and then a small, which is 4 to 7. But if we do temporary listing, let's go ahead and click into here. It says here, temporary listings will only appear in live shows they are assigned to. They won't be available in the marketplace and will expire after the show ends. But first you want to do the category. I'll just do storage unit finds. And then for the title, I'm going to do a few different categories. One, I'll do a small item. And the small item for me is about 4 to 7 ounces. Starting bid, you can put whatever you want to start it at, but you can always change this during the show. It's not permanent. Now, when it comes to quantity, this is how many times it's going to run over and over. So let's use that plush for an example. If you only put one quantity here, once that plush sells out, this listing is going to go away and you're going to have to create a new one. So what I like to do, I just put in 200. It really doesn't matter. You just want to make sure you don't run out. Right here, you can see that shipping profile that we created before for the plushes there. So if you wanted to do that, you can drag that in from here. But since we created a small item, 4 to 7 ounces, we just want to go down and select 4 to 7 ounces so it matches the listing title there, small item, 4 to 7 ounces. And that's pretty much it. You want to go ahead and hit add listing, and right there it's ready to go for the show. You can go ahead and start the auction. Same process for the rest of them. I'll go ahead and create another temporary listing. Same thing, storage unit finds. This one I'll go ahead and name medium, and this one, let's say I'll do 1 pound. Again, whatever works best for you, go ahead and type that in. Quantity, again, we'll put 200. Shipping profile, you want to make sure this matches, so we'll go down to either 1 pound, or if you want to do like 1 to 2 pounds, you can do that as well, but we'll stick with 1 pound. And again, just like that, that one is ready. We'll add it. You can see it's right there next to the small. I'll show you one more time for the large, because I like to do small, medium, and large in my shows, just for different size items. Storage unit finds, large item. My large items are going to be 2 to 3 pounds. Starting price, same thing, $3. Again, this could be edited during your show. 200 for the quantity. Again, make sure this matches whatever you put in the title, 2 to 3 pounds. Add listing, and you have your small, medium, and large items ready to go for your show. So I know that's a lot to follow along with. Like I said, you might have to watch this a couple times, but we're going to talk about the last 2 ways that you can do shipping. The last 2 are extremely important. You want to make sure you get these right. So the first one I want to talk about is something I like to do, and this is something I had to learn the hard way. Like I said, I had to pay a lot of money out of pocket to learn this mistake, but talking to Whatnot support and other sellers, I figured out, I think, how to finally do this without losing money. So what I like to do during my shows is like fill a box. So if I have a bunch of random items, I can dump them all into a flat rate box like this one right here. You can see on the side, it's a priority box, but you want to make sure you get the one that says large flat rate box. There's other ones that say large mailing box. The large mailing box goes actually by weight. So depending on the weight, that's what it's going to charge the customer. For fill a box, you want to do large flat rate, because this will ship anywhere, no matter what you can fit into this box, for $9.21. So for example, right here, I have this filled up with DVDs, but this can be anything, plush, jewelry, whatever. So you can fill this up to the brim with whatever fits in this box, as long as you can seal it and shut it closed. This large flat rate box will ship for $9.21. And this gives your buyers a really good value. They can buy as much as they want, fill up that whole box, and they won't pay crazy shipping prices. But like what I did, if you don't toggle that button on and off and change one other thing in that listing, like I'm gonna show you here in a second, what Whatnot is going to do is it's gonna charge them for the first box. And let's say another buyer buys 4 more of those boxes. It's going to bundle that all into one order. It's only going to charge them $9.21 for the first box, and the rest, the other 3, will be free shipping. So that means $9.21 times 3. So let's just call it $30, just for easy math. You'll have to pay $30 out of pocket for those other 3 boxes, and the buyer would only have to pay for that first box. I don't want you to do that, because I did that same exact thing, and it really hurt when I went to go ship all this stuff out. So let me show you what that looks like in the computer. So again, you want to go into shipments and shipping profiles. I've already created one right here, but I'm just going to show you how to go ahead and create one on your own. Create shipping profile. So here I just name it large flat rate box. The weight you just want to go ahead and put 5 pounds, because again, we want to work like in 5 pound increments. It just makes it a lot easier. So 5, make sure this is not 5 ounces. It might be 5 ounces by default. Make sure that's 5 pounds. Now, right here is the one you want to look out for. This is what I didn't do on that show where I had to pay $30 or $40 in shipping. Set the maximum number of items to put into one package. So what this means is they only get one box and then they have to pay for the next one each time. If you have this turned off, it's gonna only charge them one time and any other box they buy will be free. So you wanna make sure you turn this on and you set this to 1. Make sure this is the most important thing you look out for when you're setting this profile. Here, you wanna go ahead and click on large flat rate box. Again, it'll automatically calculate these dimensions for you. And then you're gonna go ahead and click publish. I've already done one, so I'm not gonna publish it again, but I can't stress enough how important this button is right here. That way, each box that a buyer purchases is gonna be a separate charge. Okay, so for the last example, let's say during your show, you decide to go crazy. Let's say you have something like this big old hot Cheeto bin right here, or you have a big box of Legos like this. Something that's obviously not going to fit in a flat rate box. There's no way you're going to ship this inside of here. So how do you go about shipping something like this on Whatnot? Let's jump into my phone real quick and I'll show you exactly how to do that. Okay, so for this example, we're going to go ahead and do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and click on shop. We're going to click the plus sign down here. We're going to just create quality listing. You can do quality or temporary. With quality, you do have to put a picture, so make sure you just snap a picture of whatever the item is. Storage unit finds is the category I'll put it in. Let's say we're going to sell that bag of Legos. So we'll just go ahead and type in bag of Legos here. It does require a description. Just put whatever you want to put in there. So quantity, you just want to leave it at 1, whatever you want your starting bid to be at. Here, select the show that you want it to go into. And then here at the very top, you want to click on custom. For some reason, it won't let me do this on the computer. I tried to do it on one of my shows while I was live on my laptop, but for some reason that custom option wouldn't show up, so I had to do it on my phone. So you want to look for custom, and then the same thing, you want to just fill this out. We're going to put bag of Legos. You want to have a scale nearby. Go ahead and weigh that out. Let's say it weighs 7 pounds. Make sure you switch this to pounds and not ounces. Then right here, you want to set, again, the maximum number of items to put into the package. Make sure you put that as 1. So you want them to just pay separate for this one item. Select the box size. It's not going to fit into any of these flat rate boxes. So again, you want to click custom. That's going to let you put in whatever the dimensions are. So let's just say this is 15 by 12 by 12. Then we want to go ahead and save it, and you can see it's right there ready to go. So by doing it this way and creating that custom shipping profile for the bag of Legos, it doesn't allow Whatnot to bundle that bag of Legos with the rest of the customer's orders. When you go in your shipment page after the show, let's say buyer A bought 7 plush and 1 bag of Legos. You're going to see one order line for the 7 plush, which is going into one box, and then you'll see a second line, which is a separate order for the bag of Legos. So the same buyer will have 2 different orders on 2 different lines. So then you'll just go ahead and ship those in different boxes, and they'll be charged twice. They'll be charged once, a bundling, smart bundling for the plush, and then separate whatever the charge is for that bag of Legos. So hopefully all of that made sense. I might have missed something in there. If I did, and there's something else you want to know, make sure you drop in the comments. Either I can try to answer them, or if there's any more seasoned Whatnot sellers, because again, I'm just starting. If there's anyone else that wants to chime in, they can help out in the comments as well. But don't let Whatnot shipping scare you from starting your first show. It's all a learning curve. Even if you do have to pay out of pocket a little bit, just consider it a learning lesson. Instead of paying for someone to teach you, you're just paying as you go, and you're still learning on your own and still moving forward. So make sure you don't let this stop you from actually getting started. I really do hope that this helps somebody. If you're going to start your first show, go ahead and schedule it out. Put down in the comments when that show is and put your username. We'll definitely follow each other and support you on your first show. I do have some links as well. You don't have to click them at all. I do get a little kickback if you sign up through any of my links. But again, you don't have to. You can just go directly through Whatnot. But I have 2 different links. One is for buyers. If you're a new buyer on Whatnot and you want to jump into my show or anybody else's show down in the comments, Whatnot is going to give you 15 free dollars to shop anybody's show. If you want to become a seller, click on the link. One cool thing that Whatnot does, as of right now, I don't know how long they're going to do this for, but if you sell $150 worth of sales in your first show, Whatnot is going to match you an $150. So you'll make your 150 plus Whatnot will match you that 150. So you can walk away with up to $300 or even more than that on your very first show. So make sure you take advantage. Don't procrastinate. Go ahead and just jump in there and get started. We're all here to support each other. But that's going to do it for today's video. If there's anything I missed, again, drop it in the comments. I hope this helps somebody, and I'll see you on the next video.